Welcome to my presentation. In this presentation, we shall see how to divide more integers. Let me explain a rule related to division. Division rule of 0. Let's write this thing down. Division rule of 0. And what this one is telling us is, this rule is telling us is this. If we have 0 and if we were to divide by any number a, the value is going to be equal to 0. If a is not equal to 0. If the a is not equal to 0. So on the other hand, if we have a value, any value a, and if we were to divide by 0, the second rule is telling us if we have any number and if we were to divide by 0, that number will be undefined. We cannot find the value of that. It is, we'll call that as undefined. So these are the two distinct, two ways we want to remember things. If we have 0 divided by any number a, the values will always be equal to 0, provided a, the denominator value is not equal to 0. And if we have any number, and if that number is divided by 0, the value will be undefined. Then the second rule of division is the division rule of 1. Let me write that. Division rule of 1. And what is this telling us? This is telling us that if I have any number as a, and if I were to divide it by 1, it is not going to change the value of that original number. It is still going to remain as a. And then the other rule is if I have any number a and if I were to divide it by that same quantity a, the value will always going to be equal to 1, provided that a is not equal to 0. If a is equal to 0, then it will become undefined, like in the previous rule which we talked about. So let us apply these rules to see if we can apply to some of the examples which we are going to look at. Example: what is 0 divided by negative 18? What is 0 divided by negative 18? 0 divided by negative 18. Okay, so how do we do this? The way we want to write it out is as follows. Step number 1, 0 divided by negative 18. So according to the division rule of 0, 0 divided by any number is going to be equal to 0. So therefore, this value is going to be equal to 0. We just applied the rule and we got the answer, and this is our answer. This is where we want to leave it. Okay, so let's look at another example. Let's say this time we have, let me get this thing up. This time, let's say we have an algebraic expression we want to evaluate. We want to evaluate this following algebraic expression: negative x over y, like that, when the value of x is given to us as equal to negative 6 and the value of y is given to us as negative 3. Okay, so the way we want to solve these types of problems is as follows. We write the given expression negative x over y, like that. The equation came with a negative sign. We'll keep the negative sign outside. The value of x we're going to substitute as negative 6. We'll write the negative 6. And the value of y takes on a negative 3. We're going to substitute the value of y as negative 3. Now, as we can see here, we'll keep the negative sign which came with the equation. We know from the rule of division of signs that negative divided by negative is a positive, and then let me write that. Let me write that here. Let me write that here. And what I wanted to say was, if I have a negative number divided by negative number, this changes to a positive number. So therefore, we have negative times a positive, which that is what we are looking at, and therefore when we go back to the multiplication rule of signs, negative number multiplied to a positive number is going to be equal to a negative number. So the value is going to be a negative value. Now as step number 2, we're going to come back and simplify the numbers now. We have a negative, and then we have 6 divided by 3. We could have simplified it right there, but I'm going to do the simplification process here. 6 is a multiples of 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. So therefore, we can write this one as negative 2. So negative 2 is our answer. This is where we want to leave it. So we can have an algebraic expression in terms of x and y, in terms of variable terms, and the values of the variables. If the values or the variables are given to us, we're going to substitute it into the variables given to us. We're going to use the sign rule of division, we're going to use the sign rule of multiplication, and then arrive at the correct sign, and then simplify the numbers, and then put all of them together, and that will be our answer. That will be our answer. Let's look at another example. In this example, we're going to say, is negative 3 a solution of an expression of this kind? Is negative 3 a, let me write it down here, solution. Is negative 3 a solution of an equation like this? Negative 6 over a is equal to negative 2. Let us see. We will first write it down in these different steps. We'll write the given expression to us. The given expression is negative 6 divided by a is equal to negative 2. We're going to substitute the value of a, which is given to us as negative 3. When we substitute the value of negative 3 into a and then simplify it, will the value on the left hand side of the equation be exact? Will that be equal to the value what we have on the right hand side? We will see. That is the question. So negative 6 divided by negative 3, this is our step number 2. This is step number 2. This was step number 1. So as we know from here, negative divided by negative is a positive. 6 is the multiples of 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Therefore, we can write this one as a positive 2. So therefore, negative 6 divided by negative 3 will be a positive 2. And therefore, what we have on the left-hand side, we have arrived at a positive 2 here, and what we have on the right hand side is a negative 2. Is positive 2 equal to negative 2? No, it is not. So when it is not equal to, we're going to put a line across equal to sign, indicating that it is not equal to. This sign indicates not equal to. Not equal to. So positive 2 is not equal to negative 2, and therefore negative 3 is not a solution of that of the expression which is given to us, which is negative 6 divided by a is equal to negative 2. That is not a solution of that. So in my next presentation, we shall see how to use a calculator to simplify integers.